Hi everyone. Week 1 of our class started us on this journey about curricular design in higher education. Here in this first week, you've been introduced to the idea of a learner-centered or learning-centric design. Historically, curriculum design in higher education has taken what I would call a top-down approach to learning. That is, someone with knowledge of the subject would simply disseminate whatever information to students, and whether the students understood or not was not questioned. In this case, it was teaching that was paramount and focused on. Times and ideas about this have slowly been shifting. While teaching still remains important, it is the learning, specifically the process going on with students, that takes precedence, and thus the idea of being learning-centric. Our text outlines several advantages and some challenges of using this new approach to curricular and program design, with one advantage being its flexibility and ability to implement this in different contexts, whether a formal academic higher education program, a workshop, or even a seminar. Being learner-centered means that designers have to consider many more elements of instruction, some of which we will talk about in the next module: needs, goals, outcomes, and objectives, to name a few. Ultimately, our task will be to understand how all these things are related, and then tie into what the learner is experiencing through the course or program. One thing I want to note is that since we're such a small class, do remember to respond to all other classmates in the thread at least once. Ideally, those responses may turn into a more robust conversation about the subject. I'll get the grades in for your first discussion post once the week is finished, but thought I would give you some insight of what I generally look for in discussions. My hope is that you've not just given thought to the topic, but more importantly, consider how this would apply in your own setting. For example, feel free to share what would a learner-centered approach to curriculum look like at your institution. What things would it change, and how would classes or programs look like if you were to institute it? I also hope that you keep in the back of your mind the questions of leadership. That is, what's the leader's role in all of this? Do they have a role? Remember that not only are you learning about curriculum, but what does it mean to be a curricular leader? Of course, good writing is important, so be sure to cite and support your ideas as appropriate. You're not required to cite in your response, but if you do so, that's fine too. That's all for this week, so continue the conversation on Module 1 through the weekend, and I will see you all online.